Hello and welcome back. This is Mr. Marshall for Truganina College. This week we will be continuing on with number and algebra, algebraic equations. We are looking further into algebraic equations and how to use them to solve problems. Just like last week, we will be working through the algebraic equations topic. For each lesson, you will need to write down the learning intentions and the success criteria in your exercise book. You'll be able to pause the videos so that you have time to write those down. We will be going through the slides, and at the end of each lesson we will have questions that need to be answered in your exercise book, and these questions can be found in your Jacaranda Plus online textbooks. Today is the first lesson of this week, and we will be looking at the distributive law. Our learning intention for today is that I am learning to apply the distributive law into algebraic expressions. And we will be successful when we can, or when we are able, to use the distributive law to expand brackets of an algebraic expression. Now, to start off with the distributive law, we're just going to look at a rectangle, or two rectangles added together. Now, when we're looking at this rectangle, we can see that the length here is 4, and the width, we have one rectangle which has the width of 5, and the other has a width of 3. Now, there's two ways to find out the area of this complete rectangle. Way number one is to treat it as one big rectangle. So we have 4 centimeters here, and we have 5 centimeters plus 3 centimeters there. So we can put that into our equation. A equals length times width, or area equals length times width. And we get area equals 4 times 5 plus 3, which simplifies down to 4 times 8. And that's 32 square centimeters in this area here. Now, another way we can look at it is separated into two smaller rectangles. We have a rectangle here and a rectangle here. So we have 4 by 5 centimeters, and then we have 4 by 3. So we get the equation 4 times 5 plus 4 times 3. And when we simplify it using order of operations, we get 20 plus 12, and that comes down to 32 centimeters squared. As we can see, both ways calculate the same area for this rectangle. Okay, let's add some pronumerals to see how we can use this for algebra. So we have A for the length and B and C for the sides. So this whole side is B plus C. So let's use the same two ways that we did before. The first way, area equals length times width. So area equals A times B plus C for that whole side. And this is what's called the factorized form, because we have one number or factor that's multiplied by another. And the two factors are A, which is this bit here at the front, and B plus C, which is the bit that's in the brackets. The other way is we can do the area for each of these rectangles, which is AB here and AC, because length times width, AB, length times width, AC. And we can add it up like this. This form here is called the expanded form because it's written without brackets. Now, we know that from before, these two are exactly the same amount. So we can say that A outside of B plus C is the same as AB plus AC, and we call this the distributive law. So let's practice some of these. Now, sometimes it's a little bit easier to expand the brackets by drawing in some arrows above what we're multiplying. So have a try at this, and then we will move on and you'll see how we can do this. So our first one, 5 open bracket x plus 3. So let's start off, let's draw some arrows to see what we need to multiply by. So we're going to multiply this 5 by the x, and then 5 by the 3. And what we get is 5 times x plus 5 times 3, and we simplify it, 5x plus 15. Now let's try it with this second equation. So same thing, we're going to draw some arrows to help us. So we're going to get this negative 4y multiplied by the 2x, and then we're going to go negative 4y multiplied by this minus w. Again, we go through simplifying it, so negative 4y times 2x becomes negative 8xy. Again, we put the letters in order. And negative 4y times negative w. A negative and a negative makes a positive. 4y times w is 4wy. And that's it simplified. So here we have 4 more examples. I want you to pause the video and attempt them, and then we will walk through the 4 examples. So here's our 4 examples and how we work them out. So for the first one, we're only multiplying this 4 with the numbers that are in the bracket. So this becomes 4x minus and multiplied by negative 4, which becomes negative 16. And then we can simplify that by gathering our like terms. So negative 16 and negative 5 becomes negative 11. And we leave the 4x there because nothing's changed. Let's have a quick look at this one. The x times y becomes xy. The x times minus 2 becomes minus 2x. And again, these two, same pronumerals, so we can simplify. Negative 2x plus 5 becomes 3x. The third one, negative x times y, and then negative x times negative z. So negative x times y becomes negative xy. Negative x times z becomes positive xz. And then we just bring that 5x down to complete it off. We can't simplify because there is no like terms here. And the final one, 7x minus 6 times y minus 2x, close brackets. So we leave the 7x out the front because that's not part of this. That minus 6 times y becomes minus 6y, and then minus 6 times minus 2x becomes a positive 12x. Now we can group our like terms. We got 7x and 12x, add them together and we get 19x. Okay. We can do the same type of thing when we have multiple sets of brackets in the same equation. So we have a factorized form here and another factorized form here. So let's step through this. So the first one, we go 5 times x becomes 5x. 5 times 2y becomes positive 10y. Then 6 times x becomes 6x. And 6 times negative 3y becomes negative 18. And we simplify. So 5x plus 6x becomes 11x. And positive 10y, minus 18y becomes negative 8y. You'll remember this from last week when we were grouping like terms. And the final one, 5x times y becomes 5xy. 5x times minus 2 becomes negative 10x. And then minus y times x becomes minus xy. And minus y times 3 becomes minus 3y. And again, we can gather like terms. We can gather this xy term here and these xy terms here, and becomes 4xy. Remember, the minus is part of that. And then we leave the other two terms because we can't simplify for any of those. So your practice for today is on pages 65 and 66 of your textbook. There's a few questions to be working through. For our reflection today, I want you to write down in a couple of words, about 20 words. Would the expanding process change if we had more than 2 terms in the brackets? Give an example and attempt to expand it.